Ready?
Yep.
Awesome. So, do you want to first of all just tell me a little bit about what your business does and just how you got started? I'm actually quite eager to listen to a bit of this as well, just to see where you came from and all of that type of stuff. So, yeah, Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So our backstory is that I owned a marketing firm
Yeah.
and we did web development, video, photography, all that good stuff. And I was looking for an exit strategy from that business. So basically had a bag that broke on me on the way down to Disney with my family.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for a replacement, couldn't find what I was looking for. And so I just had this, idea to what if I made my own bag? And so I kind of started looking into it and decided I think this could work. Let me see if I'm actually good at making leather goods and whatnot. And so I designed a wallet and it created that. And took me a couple of weeks to create something that was worth showing people.
Yeah.
And then I showed some friends and I had like 10 orders just like that. And so
Okay.
I was like, all right, I think I've got something here that I can build a business off of. And it just kind of went from there. And it just very quickly, within 14 months, I was able to step away from the marketing firm and started doing leather goods full time, and it just has grown from there. So
Cool. Awesome. Two questions from that. The first one is, how did you? This is more my question rather than what people might actually want to hear. But how did you go
yeah,
transitioning from like having a mark because it was your marketing agency, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you go from like was did you not feel like the marketing agency was like your baby and it was like I don't want to let go of it, or was it just like no, this is what I want to do right now, like the bag's being like me, like that's what I want to do?
Yeah, there was a transition, but yeah, I was already looking for an exit strategy. So I had been doing it for 15 years, and
Yeah.
honestly, I was burnt out on it. It just the marketing side of it was fun. The business side of that aspect of doing that business was not that fun, and so I I was looking to get out of it. So when I found something, it was very easy to transition away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And then the same, I think one of the main things that I want to probably ask from that is if anyone is like right at the beginning stage of their business and stuff like that, what would you kind of, how did you go from the idea to the point where like you maybe sourced the leather and stuff like that? Was that quite long or was that just like quite like, I know where to go. I got my leather now. This leather works quite well. It works well with bags. Like how's that part?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your industry and whatnot, but for me, thankfully for Google, I think it would have been a lot harder if I started my company 20 years ago. But everything's online,
Yeah.
and so I mean, a quick Google search and you can find a supplier, and you can find 10 of them, and then you call them all, and so it's just basically research to find where to get it from and who to get it from, and I was basically putting in 5 6 hours a day after my kids went to bed, working on all this.
Yeah.
To get it off the ground because I was still running the marketing firm, like during the day to provide the income I needed for my family. So everything else was sort of like, on the side hustle. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, awesome.
yeah.
Let's go into now like what we've kind of done for you and stuff like that. Talk to me a little bit about like how it's been working with us. I do like I want you to also if you have any like constructive criticism, maybe like if anything that you feel like we could do better, or if what just in general what you feel like we're doing and what we've added to go forth, then that'd be kind of amazing. And then I'll probably get more questions coming from that.
Sure. Well, I think something really important that, I'd like to share, just with whoever's going to be watching is that, you guys weren't our first agency that we started working with. But I had to count it up. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you're like number 7 or something like that. And so we had worked with a lot of agencies before you guys, and really just hadn't found anyone that we could stick with, that we could grow with. And, we have high expectations, as you know. We're putting a lot of money and time into this, and so we really expect from an agency someone who's going to give us that attention, and we're not just another number in there. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we really like working with you guys is that we're not just a number to you guys. We're not just another company that you're working with. I really feel like you guys give us the personal service. You guys are quick to respond when we have a question or a concern, and there. I would say that out of all the other agencies we've worked with, you guys are the only one who's really been consistent on that from through the sales process, through every month of service. A lot of agencies will get you going. They'll get you the first couple of good months.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. This has been our sort
Yeah.
of result we've gotten with most of our agencies is you get a couple of good months with them, and then they just put you on autopilot,
Yeah.
and then you go work on somebody else, and then your account starts tanking because they're not putting any attention to you.
Yeah.
And you reach out and you're like, hey, what's going on? And they give you the runaround, they tell you, oh, you need new creative. Oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. And it's really just because they haven't been putting any time to you.
I remember I remember one of the first things, now that I'm kind of thinking back at the conversation we're having, one of the main things me and Farron is our head media buyer, that we said was, you said to us was, I usually only spend about 3 months with a particular agency and then I swap. And then me and Farron were like, okay, this is going to be a hard one.
Well, usually it was about 6 months, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It was about 6 months.
And I remember as soon as we like crossed it, I think if it was 3 months or 6 months, probably a 6 months.
Yeah.
As soon as we crossed the 6 month mark and we got to 7 months. I remember we told you, it was like, Nathan, we crossed the 6 month mark. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and so, and to kind of touch on the fact that we left and came back to you guys, the reason for that was that, we kind of looked and said, we've been doing great, but we haven't really been growing. We've just kind of been staying the same. We've been meeting our goals and meeting our marks, but we really haven't been able to like take it to the next level. So we made a decision, which I think honestly was invaluable for us to do, was to go back to the first agency that we had really used that was able to scale us, in the beginning, because we were like, well, we were able to do it in the beginning, maybe we'll do it now. And what we found from that was a great learning lesson, which is the fact that they were horrible. Like they weren't able to scale us. They cost us a ton more money and got us nowhere except for our bank account was less at the end of it.
Yeah.
And the amount of service and attention we got from them was horrible. And so it was a really kind of a clear picture for us that like, okay, like maybe you jumped the gun on that. Maybe we, we're looking for the silver bullet that doesn't exist. And, with August marketing, the one thing I love is the fact that you guys give us the attention that we need, to work through all of the details of stuff. And then we execute those and the results have been really good, in terms of being able to, we've grown a lot this year. And I think part of that is what we've done on our end, but I think a lot of that is in conjunction with what you guys have done as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one thing. There's many different aspects that bring together growth and that kind of stuff. So, and you guys have definitely been a part of that. So,
yeah, I think one of the main factors when it comes to us as a team, and I don't really speak much about this when it comes to clients and stuff like that, but I think one of the main factors is the fact that we're not an agency that just bring absolutely anyone and everyone on. Like we're very picky when it comes to who we work with, because I completely understand that like if we were to have like 30, 40 clients, there would be no way for us to be able to give the attention that we do to all of them, which is probably what like most of the big agencies do, which is
right.
Probably the problem of when you go to like a big agency that they just sound like they have like 50 clients and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, like it just being very picky with who we work with just gives us the capacity to be able to just be like, any questions you guys have, just we'll try and respond as quickly as possible. And then also down to what you said on the second part, which is just what you give to your brand. I see how passionate you are about your brand, and I think that's one of the main things that I look for when I'm speaking to like prospects and new agencies that want to come and work with us. I get so many, like I speak to so many brands on a daily basis that want to come and work with us, and I just see no passion in some of them, and a few of them are doing really well. But it's like we say to them, all right, well, you're going to have to do X, Y, Z, and they're like, oh no, like I don't want to do that. I just want to hire someone that you got, like you do all the work, and I just want to see growth. That's just not how it works. And I think especially in the last couple months or last few months, I think you've really started to understand like, okay, no, the more I do as well, the better that kind of the bit like go forward from the business will go as well. So cool. Tell me a little bit about the growth that we've had. You've had in terms of, I think it was you came back in January, because you went, I think it was September.
It was January.
Back in January, and we were doing a certain amount of number in revenue, and then by March, if I'm not mistaken, you basically doubled the revenue, and then since then it's kind of been like probably like 20% up and down.
Year over year from last year, I think we're at 35% growth right now.
Nice. Okay.
So the earlier months we were at like 60% growth, but that's because the year before we had slowed things down in order to rebuild our team.
Yeah.
So because we make everything to order, and so it's not like we're just buying inventory from somewhere overseas or whatever, but we're actually hand making all of our stuff in our shop. So we actually have to have the team that we train to make these leather goods, and so that takes a little bit more time than normal. So, but yeah, so the growth has been good, and it's been something that we've been able to keep up with, which is nice. It's been growth that isn't gonna shut us down because we can't keep up with the work. So
Yeah, cool. Tell me a little bit about, if you can, what like maybe about like the team calls that we have in terms of like maybe strategy. What on
yeah,
your perspective is what we really done to kind of help you to kind of get to maybe the doubling in revenue.
yeah. I mean, I think that from what I can tell, what you guys are doing on your end is knowing how to properly set up the funnels in a way to reach the right people. I think that one of the things that you're good at, and I think it's because you put the attention to the account that needs to be done, and this is all based upon my experience working with all these other agencies,
Yeah.
is that you're making changes frequently when needed in order to be able to see the results that we need to see within our budget. So, a lot of agencies, they're just like, we'll throw more money at it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get more results, we'll just throw more money at it. I'm like, hey, anyone can do that. I'm like, that's not impressive. Like, and that's my money. How about you throw your money at
Yeah.
it? I can see if it works.
We hear that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the one thing I really like is that you guys aren't just like, hey, let's throw more money at it. You guys are like, all right, well, if we're not seeing the results that we want to see in these periods, at Go Forth, I have a very good strategy that we've learned over the years on how to attract our customers and how to get them to buy. And so there are periods where we sell a lot and there are periods where we don't sell as much. And so one of the things I've liked is you guys are like, well, look, if we're not selling a lot in these periods, well, let's make sure that we're getting new customers in the door, but that we're not blowing through our budget,
Yeah.
on a time where we're probably not going to see the sales. Let's wait. Let's do a moderate amount of ad spend, and then let's make sure that we have the available ad spend to hit everyone, when we know the sales are going to be coming in. And I think those type of strategies is what has allowed us to hit our goal this year with everything versus just, putting it on autopilot. And I think that's the biggest thing is that so many agencies, they find something that works for one customer and they just try and like cookie cutter duplicate that for everyone that they're working for.
Yeah.
It happens that it
Yeah.
only works for 10%, 20% maybe of their customers because they might fit that box
Yeah.
that they created with this other success they have with another company. Whereas you guys are really like, all right, let's look at everything and what makes sense for your specific company, and let's do that. So yeah, I think that really is why we've seen the results that we've had, and I think that's the reason why we want to continue working with you guys as well. Is that we know that if things pivot with us, you guys aren't going to be like, oh well, sorry, we don't know what to do with that. We only have this one little formula that works.
Yeah, throw more money at it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are always looking to push new ideas, to push new things. Even if it's something where I'm like, nah, that's not something I'm into, like AI. You guys are like, hey, AI, AI. And I'm like, but I love the fact that you guys are actually, you're not just trying to put out the same thing every time. You're looking to improve. You're looking to, what's the next thing that's going to help our companies to grow and that kind of stuff. And I think it's important. So.
Yeah, 100%. I think just we're wrapping it up now anyway. I think one of the main things that has made me, I don't want to toot my own horn, but like a little bit more successful in terms of like the agency world is just making sure that we're on top of just everything, like updates. And because at the end of the day, what you guys do is e-commerce, right? And e-commerce, markets move, markets change, and markets update and everything. So whatever worked for your brand, and I mean when I say your, I mean just in general, anyone who's watching this as well, whatever worked for your brand, even last year, right now, this year will not. It most probably will not work
Right.
to the same level, if anything.
Right.
The same thing is going to happen for the next like couple years, few years, especially with AI coming through as well. So
Yep.
I will continue to push AI ideas over to you, Nathan. One day you'll probably be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then, yeah. But yeah, okay, cool. My last question, and I appreciate your time so far and everything that you've said about like working with us. And I mean, just before we go down, I probably, hopefully, though, I know of our brands watch this, but you're probably the most favorite brand that we've had like up until now that we work with, based on
Awesome.
based on just everything in terms of like the results that we've got in you, based on like the communication level and like the respect that we have for one another and everything. I feel like it's a very like nice relationship to have with you, and yeah, hopefully we continue to work with each other.
Yep.
Last question is just, if you were a brand owner that was stuck around, let's say like 20K a month in e-commerce, what would you say to them to kind of help them in their growth journey right now?
So I think the biggest thing is make sure that your customer experience throughout the entire process, from when they get on your website to your ads,
Yeah,
you've really thought through what is it that we represent? What is it as a brand that we do? And no matter what, follow through with that, even if it seems like that's counterproductive to profit.
yeah,
And you'll see huge growth with that, because you're creating a brand that you want people to connect with, and when they connect with you on that level is when you're really going to see the growth. We have between 65 and 70% growth, or not growth, but repeat business
yeah,
every month with our brand, and that's because we have such loyal customers that come back
yeah,
time and time again and buy from us. And that's because we've really cultivated this culture of like best product, best customer service,
yeah,
and really wanting to meet our customers where they're at in terms of like what they want. Instead of saying like, well, this is my brand, this is what I want to do, we've said, hey, what are you guys wanting from us? We'll ask polls and that kind of stuff. And then we give them exactly what they ask for. And that's really helped us to grow and to spread the word. Advertising and marketing can only go so far. Word of mouth connected with that is really where you see that. So
yeah. I think, yeah, I completely agree. I think, especially with you guys, one of the main things that we love is the fact that your product is really good. And I think like you can, as a marketing agency, you can work with all the brands in the world, but if your marketing can be great, I think it kind of works both ways, of the thing. But like your marketing can be great and you can get people onto the website, but if the product is shit or it doesn't sell, well, it could sell. But if you just have a rubbish product and people don't come back, then you're just going to forever just have lower
yeah,
margins because
yeah,
you're going to be looking for the next customer rather than reselling to the same one. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, even if your product is great, but you're thinking about you only,
yeah,
you know, and well, I don't want to do that, or that kind of stuff, then you're creating this environment to where people feel like that they're not valued and that they're not important. And that goes a long way. And it's in the small stuff. So making sure that all the small stuff is taken care of, and that experience makes a huge difference. So
agreed. Awesome. Great answer. Okay, last question. This is actually last question. Who do you think would be a good fit for like just to come on board and kind of work with us? Or who do you think might not be a good fit for like a program like ours?
oh, you mean like a company that I know?
No, I mean just in general, like for
Oh,
example,
yeah.
you,
Types of companies and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah. So a company that's established enough to be able to afford good, good ad spend. I think it's silly if you're not ready to spend, probably at least 10,000 a month in ad spend. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of results in that, and you're just going to be frustrated. And you're going to think it's your marketing agency's problem. It's not. It's because you're not putting enough into it to get a good result. And I think other than that, it's someone who's ready to grow, can take on that new growth and do it well, so it doesn't cripple their company by not being able to get the product out on time, that kind of stuff.
I appreciate you obviously jumping on to do this testimonial. Yeah, I appreciate your time. So yeah, guys, there you have it. I just want to say thank you if you have watched the video all the way to the end. That was a great testimonial video from Nathan, who's been working with us pretty much all in all for around 2 years now, and we've been seeing just great growth, as he mentioned, 35% year on year. There's months that obviously his revenue just doubles based on everything that we're doing, and we have been doing this for a while now, guys. We're working with brands, scaling them holistically, not just with paid ads, and helping our clients get to 100, 300, 500k months. We've had clients that have joined us at a mere 10k a month that are now doing 40k a month. We've had clients that have joined us at about 90k a month that are now doing 200k a month. So if you are looking for a team that can come in and help you scale, based on the experience that we have, making sure that you're pulling all the right levers as a business owner, then there's a link in the description where you can just book in a call and you'll speak with myself. You won't be speaking to no sales rep, you'll be speaking to myself. And what we'll do is on the call is we'll go through what you are doing and what you're not doing, and then just have an idea of whether we can actually help you guys. So yeah, guys, I appreciate your time once again today. My name is Sebastian Sanchez. Peace out.